Thanks very much, Ellie. Good evening, everyone. Joy to be working with Ellie again. By the way, the First Lady of broadcasting, sports broadcasting. An honour for me to be working with her again. And what a joy it is to see, and I have to commend them, the number of Everton fans who come down here on a horrible night to South London on a Thursday night for an FA Cup tie. FA Cup ties on a Thursday night, split over all these days. I'm not sure many of you are favourites of that scenario, but here we are anyway, the players moving out in front of us. The rain momentarily has stopped. It's been horrendous. Pitch looks lovely, by the way, and nearest to us are the Crystal Palace players as they come out. Fireworks on the far side in the Arthur Waite stand, where there are 3 empty blocks of seats. There was a big take-up for tickets yesterday, I can tell you, and they were expecting a 22,000 crowd. Good pricing, 15 quid for adults, 10 quid for seniors, 5 quid for juniors. Right young Mark alongside me, who's looking forward to this one.
Yeah, definitely a 5 quid I would be, that's for sure. I am very much looking forward to it, yeah. And look, I mean, obviously we've had a lot of rain. However, like you said, the pitch looks great. Obviously, the ball's going to zip around. They're going to have to be on point with their passing because it is going to get away from them if they're not. But yeah, the scene's set. The atmosphere is good. We've seen a bit of a light display, and I think it really sets the tone and the mood for hopefully a very entertaining game.
So let's run through the two teams for you. Crystal Palace with a couple of enforced changes. Aya's gone off to the African Cup of Nations, and Elise has a hamstring problem. Not as bad as the one that kept him out for such a long period last calendar year. In goal, Dean Henderson. Then they've got Nathaniel Klein at right back, Joachim Anderson and Mark Gay, the centre-backs, and Tarek Mitchell, the left-back. Midfield, Jefferson Lerma, Chris Richards and Jeff Schlupp, who comes in there. Mateus França, the young Brazilian, makes his full debut after 5 appearances off the bench and just 16 minutes of football for the club so far. Ebe Eze on the other side and Jean-Philippe Mateta through the middle. 3 changes from Everton's point of view. João Virginia makes his first appearance for the club since March 2022 in the Cup quarter-final against Manchester City. Replaces Pickford, who goes to the bench. Seamus Coleman also comes in with Patterson going to the bench. James Tarkowski, Jared Branthwaite and Vitaly Mikolenko are the other defenders. And Garner and Onana in midfield. Dan Juma comes into the side. Change of formation a little bit. Jack Harrison and Dwight McNeil, the supporting 3 behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So it's a back 4 for them. And a word for you about the goalkeeper who comes in today. Started at Arsenal, didn't make the grade there. Went out on loan last season to Cumbria.
That's a great opportunity for him. It's tough when you're a number 2. You know, you obviously got someone like Jordan Pickford ahead of you. Game time is going to be limited, and it's about biding your time, waiting for an opportunity. Tonight is a great opportunity for him to show what he can do.
Sean Dyche having a word with Ian Wone down below us, the coach of Everton. He's had his own FA Cup history when he was a Nottingham Forest player, of course. The rain is absolutely lashing down, and it's been pouring here for hours. And if you missed it earlier, I was telling Ellie I was here in December 2000 when they had Sunderland come down for a League Cup tie, and they travelled all the way down here. Peter Reid might have been the manager at the time, and the game was called up. There was a deluge for about an hour and a half before kick-off, and they called it off. But the pitches these days are remarkable, of course. Looks immaculate, actually, considering the rain, which has flooded a lot of streets around here and left a lot of people feeling a little bit soggy and waterlogged. Roy Hodgson down below us puts up the hood of his coat and snuggles into it down there on the near touchline, and the referee is nearly ready to get us off and underway. Chris Kavanagh. Palace have progressed to the next round in just 2 of their 6 FA Cup ties against Everton. They beat them in March 2022 here 4-0. That was their first victory against them in the Cup in 100 years. And it will be Everton in the slate grey who will kick us off and underway. Crystal Palace in this new kit they're sporting tonight, blue with the red and white cross sash. And off we go then on 5 Live. Looking forward to this one. The FA Cup of 23-24 kicks off right here with Mark Gay heading it away. Everton kicking from right to left away from the Homestyle Road end, which is packed through with a throng of Crystal Palace fans and their ultras, if you like to call them that, the fanatics as they would call themselves in the middle, with their red and blue banners twirling high and feverishly early on. Ball is headed away by Chris Richards in the heart of the Crystal Palace midfield and tucked all the way back to goalkeeper Trout Virginia. He's 24 now. He comes from far away in Portugal. He's Portuguese under-21 international. His first club was Benfica, though he was only a junior there. Went on to the Arsenal and then to Everton. Had a loan spell since, including that one at Cambuur last season. Everton have it, left full-back position. Vitaly Mikolenko, much improved this season. And into the heart of midfield, Amadou Onana. He's missed just 4 league games away then towards Seamus Coleman, his 411th game for the club. Remarkable character when you consider he came back from a horrible injury as well.
Yeah, very much so. He's 35 years old now and shown that, he's a proper pro. He's worked very, very hard to get himself fit again, and he never lets an Everton team down when he's in the starting lineup.
Everton was started, by the way, with Dan Juma on the left-hand side and McNeil on the right-hand side of the supporting trio, with Harrison in the middle behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for whom this is a big competition. This could be this season, Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I think, if you look at the last probably 18 months to 2 years, just how unfortunate he's been with injuries, the setbacks that he's had time and time again. Everton has suffered without him in the side, and also, of course, he has, and it must have been very, very tough for him, and hopefully he can sustain a longer period of a run in the team, staying fit, and if he can do so, he can get back to the sort of form that we saw, when he broke through into the team, and how highly regarded he's been.
Again tonight as well for Dan Juma. He's only had the 3 league starts, having joined from Villarreal on loan. He was at Tottenham last season. He was at Bournemouth for a couple of years as well. Crystal Palace have a throw in on the left-hand side. It'll be taken then by Tyrick Mitchell, who's had a very consistent run. He started 43 of their last 44 games. Throws infield then to Jefferson Lerma, and Crystal Palace have a throw on the far side from us. They lost against Everton here this season. Everton won 3-2, and they scored very late on in that game through Idrissa Gana Gueye. He's missing tonight. Talked about Abdoulaye Doucouré missing through injury. Well, Gueye is also out. Both teams missing significant players. Crystal Palace had their first shot of the game. It's from outside the penalty area from Jeffrey Schlupp, who had to sort of pivot and get it away left-footed, and Virginia dealt well.
Yeah, he did well, Jeffrey Schlupp, on the turn. He sort of, like you said, pivoted on that turn, swung at it, got a decent connection, hit the ball into the ground, and it landed quite and bounced quite awkwardly for Virginia in goal, but he's done really, really well to keep hold of it. I mean, he took it in at the second attempt, but kept it close enough to him.
Last game was that FA Cup quarter-final. His only game before tonight in this competition against Manchester City when they lost in 2022. Now, Crystal Palace have a goal kick away to our left-hand side, and I'd just like to ask you about their goalkeeping situation, because all of a sudden Crystal Palace have found themselves with 2 very good goalkeepers. Dean Henderson had to wait for a little while to get his chance, having joined in the summer from Manchester United. He's come in because of an injury, and the 2 good goalkeepers they've got here.
Yeah, Sam Johnson's done really well since he's been at Palace, so I think for Dean Henderson right now, he's been a little bit fortunate. Sam Johnson has an injury, so therefore he's going to have a bit of a prolonged sort of time in the goal for Crystal Palace, and now it's an opportunity for him to stake his claim to try and convince Roy Hodgson that he is the number 1 here at Palace.
Johnson out with a calf strain. Hasn't played since December the 9th. He was never present up until then. Now here's an opportunity once again for Danjuma to have a run, and flashes across from the left-hand side of the Palace penalty area, goes all the way through to the far side. Coleman pulls it back. Ghana has it central midfield. Quarter-finalists in 2022, Nottingham Forest against Liverpool, who was on loan at Forest at the time, and in then to Onana. Everton switch it away towards this near side at 0-0, and look for Mikolenko, slipped away from him under the pouring rain, and Jared Branthwaite has it, who is still only 21, but is making a big name for himself, I think.
Yeah, very much so. And I think he's done really, really well. The way that he's sort of slotted into that centre half role, but he's always had some really experienced players next to him, and I think that's really important when you're as a young player coming into the first team. When you have the likes of someone like Tarkowski next to you, you can concentrate just solely on your game a little bit and allow your teammate to sort of kind of give you little instructions, little directions.
There's Everton Eze on the halfway line for Crystal Palace, just slips it back then towards Nathaniel Klein. Klein finds Anderson 10 yards inside the Crystal Palace half at 0-0, and he decides to push it all the way back to Dean Henderson inside that Crystal Palace penalty. Henderson away then to Tariq Mitchell on the left hand side. Born under the shadow of the Wembley arch is Tariq Mitchell. Now Crystal Palace would love to get there again. FA Cup finalists on a couple of occasions. Runners up in 89-90, the replay game against Manchester United. Ian Wright cut final. They look for their main striker of 2023-24, Mateta through the middle, but it's collected by Virginia.
That was a really great little flick on from Eze there into the path of Mateta. Unfortunately, Tarkowski for Palace was just a little bit too aware of it. We got there first.
Oh, but Lewin thought he kept the ball in play, but in chasing for it to keep it in play, he's deemed to be offside. It's Crystal Palace's fourth shirt, worn tonight for the first and the very last time. Limited edition strip will be auctioned later, and all profits will go to the Palace for Life Foundation. That's why we're seeing them in this kit tonight, reminiscent with the cross sash of Palace kits from the 70s and 80s. They have a throw-in on the far side, and Mitchell will take it. Semi-finalists in 2022 for Crystal Palace when they were beaten by Chelsea. They've been out in round 3 in 3 of the last 4 seasons and 4 of the last 6 seasons. Everton, of course, have a great tradition in this. They've won it 5 times. The last was in 94-95. And they reached the quarter-final twice in the last 3 seasons, but they have had their cup shocks, remember, at Millwall when they were beaten 3-2 in 18-19. I was on commentary duty that day down at the Den. The new Den, as older listeners will probably think of it still. Been around there for donkey's years now, the new Den. And here's Mateta down that left-hand side. Draws across to him. Young Branthwaite slips it to the left side of the penalty area. Schlipp was there, couldn't keep it in possession, and Dwight McNeil will clear it away diagonally, looking across here for Danjuma, but it slips away from him, and Klein gets it, and then Danjuma fouls it.
Yeah, I think he's trodden on his boot actually, because Nathaniel Klein there, he's left bootless. He's hobbling over to collect his boot. Now he's going to have a wet sock, which is not going to be great putting your boots on. But you can see there as that Dye came across, a switch from Everton to this left-hand side where Danjuma receives the ball. It's held up in the wind, and then obviously there's a bit of a skid off of the surface as well when it hits the ground. So it's going to be challenging conditions out there. Not only is it wet, very, very wet, there's a bit of a swirl of wind around the stadium as well.
0-0. Everton have lost 7 of their 9 FA Cup games against fellow Premier League sides. Lost all 4 away games in that run, including the 4-0 here a couple of years ago. Anderson's crossfield free kick away to that left-hand side. Crystal Palace attack down their left. It should be tidied up, and indeed is, neatly by Coleman, who gets it away and out of play. £60,000 he cost from Sligo some 14 years ago now. What remarkable value Seamus Coleman has been. The boy from Killybegs has come marching home on many an occasion. If you know your Irish music, if you don't, you'll have no idea what I was talking about, but there you go, nothing much changes. Now it's Crystal Palace's youngster Clancy down the line, and he looks for Eze, tried to look back heel and a spin to take it away from Onana. He read it well, and then Eze pulls him back, so it's a free kick, quite rightly so. Right it down in front of us to our right hand side, yard in from the near touchline. Yeah,
Eze was a little bit unfortunate. Yes, it was a foul, but all the way leading up to when Eze had the ball, he was dribbling around, trying to get around the outside of Onana, and Onana was grabbing hold of him just enough for the referee not to, or long enough or short enough for the referee not to blow a whistle.
Everton look for Calvert-Lewin, beaten in the other by Gahey. Referee referee has said that's no foul, the heart of the midfield there, and on we go. Palace thought they should have had a free kick for a push on Schlupp. Now Mikolenko finds the left-hand touchline. Harrison down the line, then here's Danjuma between the penalty box and the left-hand touchline, goes again, gets to the byline, in comes the cross, good defending in there for Crystal Palace to get it away through Anderson. Everton come again, high hoisted across the far side of the penalty area, brought down quite efficiently, and now rolled back to Coleman. Coleman finds the far side from us. McNeil rolls in field to Anana has a look over his left shoulder, slides discretion's a better part of Ballard, pulls it back to the halfway line, and here's Brunthwaite, centre circle, 0-0, 5 live. Start of a wonderful sequence of commentaries and FA Cup action. Still a priceless competition for me and for so many of you, still a romantic competition, and one of the best in the world at club level. As it's headed on there rather curiously by Calvert-Lewin, lost his bearings, goalkeeper comes and picks it up and will get it away. I think you always remember your FA Cup ties when you were a kid and you dreamt of your team being successful and having a great run, and those romantic memories I don't think ever leave you.
Well, they don't. I mean, even as a player, I've been fortunate enough to have played in a lot of FA Cup fixtures, and they're always very, very special. And obviously, the disappointment is always huge. If you go out against a lesser opposition on paper, the disappointment of that. But it's a wonderful tournament to be part of.
The money from TV dictates that there are so many games live. I'm not too sure that will still be the case in the next FA Cup TV deal. We'll wait and see, of course. There's great interest, though, amongst the TV companies in that, no doubt. And here is Jefferson Lerma for Crystal Palace. Just drops his shoulder, and the deception took him away from Harrison. Gets it back again. Finds us in the midfield, and then there was a foul as Lerma was pushed to the ground. Free kick to Crystal Palace, and the referee says, Chris Kavanagh says, that free kick was taken when the ball was rolling. We have Spurs Burnley for you tomorrow, 12:30 Sunderland against Newcastle United. John Murray and Pat Nevin there for you. 3 o'clock Gillingham Sheffield United commentary with Ian Dennis and Nathan Jones on duty. I'll break off because Eza has it for Crystal Palace, and he's dived and he's going to get a yellow card. There's a little bit of confusion there. Onana thought he was going to get caution for the foul, but it's
Onana's been actually very, very physical in these opening 12 or so minutes of this game. He's had a real tussle with Jefferson Lerma in the midfield. Jefferson Lerma's been frustrated on a number of occasions. You've seen the replay because we're on the opposite side of where Eze went on Banana's left-hand side. We're on the other side, couldn't really see it. Seen the replay. Yeah, he clearly dives. There is a slight touch from Onana. His arms outstretched, but nowhere near enough to warrant him to go to the ground, and I think the referee got the one spot on.
The Saturday commentary we have for you in the FA Cup third round is at Middlesbrough against Villa at 5:30, and then of course Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will be hosting 6:06, a whole raft of games for you on Sunday as well. Lerma's given that away. Now here's Danjuma showing up well down the left-hand side for Everton at 0-0. Gets the crossing again from the right-hand side of the Palace penalty area where they're having trouble dealing with him, the veteran Nathaniel Clyne. And it's switched by Tarkowski looking left. Maybe betwixt and between, it's gone out play for a goal kick anyway as he arrowed that ball out. James Tarkowski, ever present this season and is having some season. And Everton, despite the 10-point penalty, you take that away, are having a decent season until the last 3 games, I guess.
Yeah, they are. And that's the frustration, I think, for a lot of Everton fans, is the fact that they've had a really good start, a pretty good start to the season, and to have those 10 points deducted, that's been obviously the tough one to take, but they've got to get on with it.
4 defeats in a row in all, after they'd had 4 wins in all in a row, including the win here against Crystal Palace in the league. Palace look from Mateta, the tall, shaven-headed centre forward from Sevran in France. Couldn't control it, struggled for goals, got 5, started the last 4, he's got Edouard out of the side, but Crystal Palace fans want to see a new striker come in January, but what finances Roy Hodgson will be given is a different matter, because he hasn't been given a great deal. For example, in the summer they spent 39 million, 20 million of that was on young França, 15 million of it was on Henderson, the goalkeeper, and 4 million on Rob Holding, who's scarcely kicked a ball through for them through injury. Now Everton have it inside their penalty area. Charles Virginia kicks to the halfway line, it ricochets off Dwight McNeil. It'll be a throw in for Crystal Palace in front of those empty blocks of blue seats in the Arthur Waite stand. one seat occupied by a steward, and then more two dozen have crept out from the wing blocks into the right hand one of those three empty blocks to get a better seat, a little bit more room, I expect. TV close-up is on the pensive Roy Hodgson down below us. His team 0-0 with Everton at this moment in time. It's 1,264th game as a coach. Everton look for Dan Juma. Now the Crystal Palace goalkeeper came a long way out of his penalty area. It wasn't cleared efficiently. The cross from Dan Juma into the penalty area was tidied up by Klein. Just a little bit of indecision there, Mark.
Yeah, that's what the conditions can bring up. The fact that there's a ball over the top, there's a bit of wind-beaten play as well. Normally you expect as the ball goes to the top, it's going to skid through. But it's held up a little bit. So there's a bit of indecision there from Dean Henderson. Doesn't really need to get involved. But like I said, because of the conditions, he feels that it's going to come through to him.
França gives the ball away, a little bit nervy perhaps. They won the Copa Libertadores in Brazil with Flamengo as part of that winning squad. Here's Branthwaite, Euro under-21 winner with England last summer, and Danjuma on the left-hand side, 2 yards in from the left-hand touchline. Back it goes to the heart of midfield. Garner sweeps a beautiful pass away. The Coleman advancing on the right-hand side, goes inside Tyrick Mitchell, has McNeil in support. McNeil checks back to his left-footed player on that right-hand side, of course, inverted winger as they call them these days, and playing on the right tonight. That's interesting. Now Coleman to the edge of the penalty area, rolls it away, on by Calvert-Lewin. Danjuma inside that Palace box, went near post, side netting. Corner kick, must have deflected through.
Yeah, he needed to take on his right, but he waited for it to go across his body onto his left. By that time, Palace players were able to get across and make a very, very important, decisive block on that shot on goal.
Well, it was a very good game, the 3-2 Everton win here late last year, in November it was, and Everton were triumphant that night, and they have a corner kick here on the left-hand side. Come to position at the back of the main stat, and Everton rolled it into a more central position, where it's tipped into the box by Mikalenka, headed away for Crystal Palace. I feel there should have been a free kick there for a little nudge. Again, it was second time he's appealed for a free kick and not got it in the game. 0-0, 5 live, 17 minutes gone. In it comes from an Everton point of view from the right-hand side, cleared by Crystal Palace to the halfway line. Little tickle round the corner. I really thought it was by Harrison, who looks for the overlap. Bit fortunate the ball was kept under control by McNeil. Now sets sail in from that right-hand side, gives it away. So does Eze. Scrappy passage of play. Anderson comes to play, slithers across the turf as he clears the halfway line. Mateta can't hold it. Very scrappy. 0-0. Everton in possession. Mikalenka.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, neither team. Probably, if anything, Everton have looked the more comfortable in control. For Palace there, they've been at times when the ball has gone through to Mateta, it's found it difficult to get hold of it. He has been swarmed in his defence by the Everton defence. So Palace really need to get up and support him quicker to allow him to have an option once he receives that ball.
Question for you out there. Apart from it being the last time Everton won the FA Cup, 1995, with Manchester United, a significant point about that cup. So I give it a couple of minutes to think about it on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and Mikalenka has it now on the left-hand side. In support is Garner, busy in midfield. The Birkenhead-born lad, former Manchester United player, chops another lovely drilled crossfield ball away to the right. Coleman advances, then pumps across well high and immediately raises 2 hands in acknowledgement of the error and supplication for support from his teammates, because he knew it was a terrible cross. Lovely ball out to him.
Yeah, it was a brilliant pass from Gardner there. It was great diagonal. You could see there Seamus Coleman was in a bit of space, took a really good touch. It was just his delivery into the box and let himself down, and he puts it out for a goal kick.
Only his 3rd game this season, had the knee ligament problem. Played for the under-21s against Mansfield, and then it's had the 1 league start before this FA Cup game tonight. Up goes Mateta, beaten in the air by Branthwaite, and Everton, who've been the better side so far, slip the ball through. Harrison into the penalty. Danjuma, good parry. Good strong hand goalkeeper, pushed it up and over the bar. Good safety in Henderson.
Yeah, it was another really good opportunity there for Danjuma. He's through, it gets on his left foot. You can see the angle was always getting tighter. The closer he went towards goal, he's being pushed wider. And then you can see there Dean Henderson does really well. He just stays up on his feet, stays big, doesn't go to the ground. And therefore Danjuma looks to try and dink it over the top of him. But Dean Henderson has enough there in his legs to push up that last final push, the ball over the crossbar.
Corner kick on the Everton right. McNeil will take it low and fizzing towards the near post. Came awkwardly off Mateta's head for another corner. That cup final, by the way, 1995, the win against Manchester United, the last time Everton won an FA Cup game in London. Without a win in 12 visits to the capital in this competition without a success. It's going to be a corner kick for them on the right-hand side. They look at this moment in time as if they'll get a success tonight because they're the better side. In comes that corner. Goalkeeper got a little bit fortunate, gained to claim, patted it away, gathered it first bounce, and Dean Henderson, all in lime green, has the ball in his right hand and will look to clear it away.
Yeah, as that ball comes into the box, it was with a bit of power. Initially I thought he's kind of misjudged it a little bit, but seeing the replay, he has got a hand in his back, and I think he gets a little shove as he goes up to try and catch that ball, but he adjusts really well. Yes, he doesn't catch it on the first attempt, but then regathers it quite comfortably in the end.
No free kick given for the hand in the back. Unusual, can't touch goalkeepers, not like when you were playing.
Protect your species, mate, you know that.
Now, here's Virginia, all in black, the Everton goalkeeper. Left foot clears it away, headed back by Clyde, and tucked for Crystal Palace by Chris Richards, back to the goalkeeper, rolls it out then to Mark Gay, quickly pressurised by Harrison inside that Everton midfield, and because of the pressure and the high press, Everton get their reward. It's a throw on their right hand side. 0-0 with 21 minutes gone.
Yeah, Everton have definitely been a side that started this game more brightly. They've been on the front foot, they've been high in energy. Palace really haven't got going so far.
Calvert-Lewin between the penalty box and the right hand touch on the Everton fans, but he's caught by the offside flag. Brilliant support for Everton. I mean, the away support for Everton has been unwavering over the years, and they haven't had good years the last 3 or 4 years. It's terrific for them to turn up in these numbers.
Yeah, they've always supported their teams really, really well. Always a tough place to go to, Goodison Park, with the locals there at full strength all the time, and on the way supporters, you know that they're always going to have a nice heavy support.
What will the atmosphere be like in the new stadium, I wonder? It's been put back a year, of course, and will the next 12 months hold for Everton Football Club? We'll wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if the points penalty is reduced. I think there will still be a penalty, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is reduced on appeal. Interesting to see the other clubs that will get penalised. Rumours that there are 2 more. We'll wait and see what happens. There's Eze, central midfield on 5 line, midway through the half, 0-0. Rolls the ball out to Klein, wearing pink boots, little wristband on his right wrist, and here's Francis, good skill from him. Rolls infield, delayed, but won a free kick as James Tarkowski came out square onto a runner and gave away a cheap free kick for a defender of his ability and his experience.
Yeah, I think Francis is a little bit fortunate. I think he loses control of the ball as he comes inside. He runs out of space, and here's Tarkowski. Tarkowski literally just takes him out, and it is a free kick. Yeah, Francis just gets enough onto the final touch. He gets a toe on it to try and play the ball further forward, and Tarkowski's a split second late and just takes him completely out.
No way Francis was going to get to the ball, was he? He touched it too heavily, it had gone past him, but it was a clumsy effort of a challenge by James Tarkowski. He started 51 league games in a row, and through all the inconsistencies of Everton over the last couple of years, he has been there. He's given away this free kick. It is in the D. He's slightly right of centre. Actually, Eze will take it. He's a right-footed player from there. Everton with all 11 back in the penalty area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the wall. One on the edge of the wall will close down very quickly. He gets an opportunity. It's Eze now with the free kick for Crystal Palace on 5 live. Over the bar, over the wall, but over the bar by what? Yard and a half.
Yeah, I think he was caught in 2 minds there. It was almost like he looked to try and guide it over that wall and then decided, no, I'm going to hit it really hard, and did neither. Guided it over the crossbar by considerable margin, and it was a tough one because he's only about 2 foot outside the 10-yard box, so he's either got to reduce the power on the strike over the wall, because he's got to get up and over and down again on the other side really quick, or he's going to go for the goalkeeper's side, because the goalkeeper finds it really difficult to get a full vision on the ball because there's so many players in front of him. He does neither.
It's virtually a year through injury, didn't he, Eze? He's had hard times in his career. It's a great example, actually, for younger listeners to Five Live out there tonight. I'll talk about that in a moment, because Everton have possession. Here's Mikalenko striding into space, curls across into the penalty, looking for McNeil to come in from the right side of the penalty area. Palace tidy up then. Eze has a risky header down to Klein, being pursued all the way back there towards the left-hand touchline, but he clears it away. And as far as Dan Juma, who leaves França behind him, gets to the byline. He's playing well, Dan Juma, and forces a corner kick. I have to say, young França needs to defend better than that, though.
Yeah, he was caught a little bit the wrong side, and he therefore couldn't get back. He was always going to be second best. Fortunate enough, actually, not to give a free kick away, but I thought Nathaniel Klein did really well. Dan Juma was in full swing there down the left-hand side, but Nathaniel Klein stayed with him, waited, and made a vital interception.
On a year's extension, here's Nathaniel Klein. Contract comes up in the summer for the veteran. He's in back there defending. Oh! Came off França, and the goalkeeper had to save from the corner kick. Nearly slipped past him from the young Brazilian. And he's clipped as he came to run away, though. Sean Dyche is exasperated that the free kick has been given against his side in Jared Branthwaite, and it is a free kick, though, halfway inside the Palace half. Got some pace as Matheus França.
Yeah, I've just seen the replay from that corner. It just beats everyone at the near post. Unfortunately for Palace, Dean Henderson goes across to his near post. He just sticks out his right boot. It's one of those ones. He's like, last second, the ball just pops through, and he just throws his right foot out and makes a very sort of simple clearance off his own line.
Matheus França's last goal was for Flamengo against Bahia in the rain of South London. It would have been a first goal at Selhurst Park on his full debut, one that he wouldn't have wanted, but it nearly beat his own goalkeeper. At the other end, Virginia comes to claim and gather. Yeah, young Eberechi Eze was an Arsenal kid, a Fulham kid, a Reading kid, and a Millwall Academy boy as well. Rejected by all of them. Queen's Park Rangers took a chance on him, and the rest is history. So that's a lesson to some of you who may not have had a chance first time around. Keep plugging away. Here he is, Eze, plugging away. The old inside right position. Pulls it back to the halfway line, and Joachim Andersen. Here's Richards. He's been strong when they brought him in. He started the last 7 games, the Birmingham, Alabama-born USA international. He's done well in there. Again, he had to be patient for his first team opportunities, having signed from Bayern Munich. He's on the ball again, centre circle. Short sleeves on a night like this. Good lad. Swept away by Anderson to the left-hand touchline for Crystal Palace. Just about kept it out there by Mitchell. And couldn't control it, and in the end Richards has to sweep it away for an Everton throw, but inadvertently gives Everton about 20 yards progress down the right hand side. 28 minutes gone, 0-0, 5 Live. BBC Sounds, what a week we have for you of FA Cup action ahead. What a weekend. Pulsating drama all the way through. Here's Harrison for Everton, pops the ball up to Coleman on the right-hand touch and took it on the chest trap, lobs it away to McNeil, helped out on the far side. Coleman made the overlap, Crystal Palace saw it coming and cleared away. Eze, there was a stiff challenge in there. Onana on Schlupp, referee said it was fair. He has been physical tonight in that midfield area, Amadou Onana. But too many free kicks given against him. Here's Richards, dropped his shoulder, tried to turn away from Harrison. And finds Gay, Cypher, left foot away towards the left-hand touchline. Crystal Palace making progress out there at 0-0. And they get a decent ball into the centre ball, but they switch it very well out towards França on the right touchline then, 5 yards from the dead ball line. Tries to get to that byline. He's seen off by very competent defending by Vitaly Mikalenko.
Yeah, he made it too easy for Mikalenko there. He sort of took his touch. Mikalenko then saw the opportunity to jump in between the ball and França there, and França just couldn't get around him anymore. Mikalenko just stayed really big and watched the ball go out for a goal kick. I'll tell you what, Chris Richards so far in this game has been very, very good for Crystal Palace. Nothing seems to faze him. He's available every time when Palace are in possession, takes the ball, and in any circumstances, even when he's got 2 or 3 players around him, and he does really well when he mops up in that sort of defensive midfield holding role.
His FA Cup W, France's FA Cup W. On the other hand, they do have a number of players who played in that semi-final against Chelsea in 2022. Anderson was there, Gay was there, Mitchell was there, Schlipp played in that game, Eze played in that game, and so did Philippe Mateta. But the daddy of them all in terms of FA Cup experience is Seamus Coleman. His semi-final appearance came in 2012 against Liverpool. It's a throw to Crystal Palace right in front of Sean Dyche, wearing a black suit, it looks like, down there. No rain protection for Sean Dyche, of course, pointing the way in his shiny black shoes in the mud as it's headed away by Branthwaite into the heart of midfield. It's collected in the heart of midfield by Dan Juma. A little right foot stab pass by Onana back to Branthwaite to his right hand side. Inside the D on the Everton penalty area is Big Tarkowski, broad shouldered, again short sleeved shirt on a night like this. Onana busy in midfield, only missed 4 league games this season. The £34 million signing from Lille a couple of summers ago. Has it again, wants the ball, good side, 0-0. Right foot, ball tightly under control. Out to meet him comes a Crystal Palace player, so he rolls it back into his own half, and Mikolenko has it. Turns it neatly to the left touchline, and they have a run here on the left side. Everton player infield looking for Harrison in there, easily cleared away, and now França has it for Crystal Palace. Back then to Klein, giving the ball away, poor clearance, looking for Eze, dropped in short, and Nana was there. Everton have it back again. Ghana and Onana have been really busy in the midfield so far.
Yeah, they've been at the heart of everything for Everton, and obviously they've had a lot more possession than Crystal Palace. Certainly sort of had more control of the game in this first half, and everything sort of seems to go through them. There was a period of time there I think Sean Dyche was a bit frustrated. They kept the ball on this left-hand side, Everton. They had opportunities to spin it and switch it, and they didn't, and you could see he was getting more and more frustrated as the game was going on.
Of course, the Mark Schwarzer on 5 Live, man who knows Roy Hodgson so well, on the way to the Europa final with Fulham. Roy, successful manager in his time, UEFA runner-up with Inter, but he was successful with Halmstad and Örebro in Swedish football, and won the Swedish Super Cup with Neuchâtel Xamax League with Copenhagen. Been around a long, long time. Throw into Crystal Palace on their left-hand side at 0-0. Roy was talking in the build-up to this about his favourite FA Cup memories being with Bristol City back in the early 80s when he was assistant to Bobby Houghton, and they reached round 5. They went out to Nottingham Forest 2-1. Kevin Mavett scored 5 goals in that run, by the way. When he became manager himself, they played Aston Villa in round 4 and lost at home 1-0. I was sent by BBC Radio Interview to do an interview with the Villa manager, Ron Saunders, who didn't do interviews like that, didn't know I was coming. I had to wait in the rain for hours and hours and hours. And Nigel Spink gave me a cup of tea at the training ground. I'll never forget it, Nigel, if people know Nigel out there, and gave me a cup of tea, and Ron Saunders said, I'm only interviewing you because you look like a drowned rat. I'm only doing the interview. You look like a drowned rat. Come in, son. Hard man was Ron Saunders. Richards for Crystal Palace. Back into the penalty area, and it's cleared away to the halfway line. Now Mateta, he's rolled his man. He's got away from Tarkowski. Left-hand corner of the penalty. Palace's first real danger of the game, and he forces a corner at 0-0.
Yeah, really good play from Mateta there, because Tarkowski probably got a little bit too tight to him. Tried to nick the ball down his left-hand side there. Mateta just rolled him, used his pace. Tarkowski was out of the game. Branthwaite needed to come across and help out his teammate, and he's the one that makes the block and gives away the corner, but good defending in the end.
Corner kick for Crystal Palace on that left-hand side. As they will take it. I think this is their first corner of the game, isn't it? Schlipp goes near post. It's aimed behind him. Richards was coming in deep to the far post, with Branthwaite did a good job of it. Palace attack again. Young França. Quick across the ground. His attempted cross was deflected back. Palace have it now centre circle. Klein, the big switcher, play. Good ball away to Eza. Mistake by the Everton player, misjudged it in the air. McNeil, Eza into the penalty area. Slip on the outside here. Slip crosses to the far post. Came off the bar, and it's steered away under the bar. Branthwaite was there for Everton, so too Mikalenko. They got it away, but Crystal Palace, good spell here on 5 Live at 0-0. And Richards finds the left-hand touchline again, and they're making inroads now. In comes the ball into the penalty area, and Mitchell got in there, couldn't get any power, and the cross collected by Virginia.
Yeah, Jeffrey Shook does really well, got it left-hand side. You think that the ball's going to go out, and he's just got so much pace. And he actually, the way he chips it over, he dinks it over the goalkeeper, it goes across the face of the goal. And you can see there Mikalenko at that far post makes a vital clearance. He wasn't sure it was going to hit the crossbar or not. Pops down and he just puts his leg through it.
Didn't in fact hit the woodwork, just passed right across the goal. I first thought it had just glanced the bar, but it didn't. Mikalenko cleared. Here's Branthwaite, signed from Carlisle for 1.1 million in the January of 4 years ago now. Great strides he's made this season. Dan Juma, part of the Everton midfield, plumb dead centre, finds the right hand touchline, and McNeil left-footed chip into the box, headed away inside that Crystal Palace penalty area by Anderson. Everton have possession back again, 0-0 with 35 minutes gone, but it hasn't been done. It comes across looking for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, difficult header to get on target from there, coming away from goal, went wide.
Yeah, it's the right sort of delivery in the box. The only thing is it's just a little bit behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He just can't get around it enough. So, it's half a foot further in front of him. He's able to really throw himself at it. It's a really dangerous sort of position, even though it's quite far out. But the whip and the pace on the ball, you can create such a power on it on the header, and he just can't control it.
Lewington, Roy Hodgson's trusty first lieutenant, sits down in the dugout about 30 yards to our left. We're at the back of the main stand, and the rain has stopped for the minute. Will it return with a vengeance as it did about an hour ago? We had a brief pause. But Steve Holland is here today, by the way. I've just seen a cutaway of him. TV cameras have picked up Gareth Southgate's assistant. Gareth, of course, Crystal Palace captain in his time, and was part of the team that Manchester United beat in the semi-final. He had that altercation with Roy Keane on the pitch. And for the Liverpool semi-final, by the way, back in 89-90, working for radio in London, and we had to come up with a penalty shootout team from Crystal Palace, fans or the like, and we had to organise it. I left it to a young apprentice at Crystal Palace at the time called Gareth Southgate to organise it, and he did. Crystal Palace lost that shootout. Gareth Southgate. Penalty shootouts, two don't really go together. Anyway, here they have it. Crystal Palace, Klein, halfway line. His clearance ricochets away. Dan Juma now, left touchline, 0-0. Oh, he's fed the ball in behind. Calvert-Lewin just ran away from inside the penalty, and out comes Henderson to collect. It's a dangerous ball in behind momentarily. No goals. France, right touchline for Crystal Palace. Back it goes into Klein and onwards to the yellow-booted Joachim Andersen, the Danish international World Cup player from Qatar. Seems a long time ago now, but I do think the Winter World Cup is still having effect on the legs of players. I'll ask Mark about that in a minute, actually. Here's Mateta now between the penalty box and the left-hand touchline. Deep inside Everton territory, rolls it back in from Mitchell. Might have had a shot there through Lerma. Palace fans wanted Lerma to have a shot. Safety first. Gay has it. Just left of centre. Halfway inside the Everton half. 0-0. Protects the ball from McNeil. To the left touchline finds Mitchell. Schlipper's made a run to the edge of the penalty. In comes across. Mateta dummy. Comes to Eza. There's the set-up. Palermo. There's the shot. And it's screen wide.
Yeah, big chance for Crystal Palace. Even though it was from some distance there, but Douglas Lerma had a lot of time on the ball. You just can't keep it down under the crossbar. It was a really nice layoff from Eze under a lot of pressure. Had a couple of options, lays it off to Lerma, and Lerma just gets too much underneath it.
He scored in the FA Cup. They've only played 3 games. It's round 5 in 2021. The Bournemouth against Burnley. Sean Dyche is Burnley, by the way. Do you think the Winter World Cup is still affecting players, Mark?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I've been involved with playing Asian Cup in sort of January times, like what we're going to see now, what's happening right now. And I didn't feel necessarily that it did affect me coming back after that. I mean, I know it's not the same as a World Cup. There was a little bit of period before and afterwards where there was a little bit of a break. But I just what I do remember is playing at 2 World Cups and how much that takes it out of you. It doesn't matter when it is. And obviously I played in the June months in Germany and then also in South Africa in 2010, and it's very, very tough to recuperate after those just because of the mental and the physical pressures that you go through and the exertions.
Huge pressure, getting more intense as the game goes on. McNeil into the penalty area, headed away by Crystal Palace, driven back in there. I think it was Harrison arrived, was it? With the shot from the edge of the penalty area. It was well blocked anyway, and it's cleared away. Might have been young Garner who had the shot from the edge of the penalty. It was indeed. As the ball came out to him, hit it crisply, left foot. It was blocked by Anderson, and Palace got it away in the end.
Yeah, I think Dean Henderson would have had it. He was going straight, so just slightly to his left, and Dean Henderson was down behind it. But it's Anderson who is still recovering from his initial clearance. It's a backheel clearance from the initial cross into the box, and he's the one that also puts his foot through it.
Must have been offside anyway in the middle against someone because a free kick was given in the end, and it's going to be Crystal Palace who clear it away towards the halfway line. And all the way through. And here then is Virginia, left-footed to swipe across it for Everton to find the halfway line where the excellent Chris Richards rises. The Crystal Palace at 0-0 to head it forward again. There's a clash of heads and Lerman has left suddenly on a none, and Everton have a free kick. I must say Chris Kavanagh has been excellent tonight, the referee. Free kick to Everton. Don't forget to tomorrow's Spurs against Burnley on 5 Live in the third round. Saturday 3 commentaries, Sunderland, Newcastle, Gillingham, Sheffield United. And Middlesbrough against Villa at 5:30 with Vicky Sparks and Neil Lennon. Free kick here for Everton, quite rightly given, and it'll be taken then by Virginia, who will get it away. They've been out in round 3 4 times in the last 7, punctuated by those 2 quarter-finals, beaten here by Palace 4-0 and beaten by Manchester City the year before in the last 8. And they see now another attack comes to nothing, and it's going to be a goal kick to Crystal Palace at the supermarket end of the ground, and it will be a goal kick that will be taken by Dean Henderson, quarter-finalist in this competition a couple of times in the past, approaching 200 games now as a goalkeeper, still a young man as a goalkeeper at 26. They go on forever and ever. So he'll take this goal kick. Mateta would be an obvious target, no question of them playing out short, tippy-tappy toe stuff. It's route 1, it's up towards Mateta for the head-on, but again Branthwaite did well against him. Everton have been the better side. Here's Harrison, and towards McNeil, handball. Oh, the referee said it came off his body and then hit his hand, so that doesn't constitute a handball. Quite rightly so, referee. And on we go, play on. Ball breaks to Schlupp for Crystal Palace. Edges to the middle, look at Mateta. Good pressure on Coleman, who slithered back. And he touched it to the goalkeeper who comes to collect, wasn't deemed a back pass.
Yeah, no, again, I think the referee was right in that decision. I thought Seamus Coleman does really well to get back across. He needed to come across because Mateta was through. He had the pace on James, I think it was James Tarkowski there, and it was Seamus Coleman's last-ditch challenge or diving sort of clearance. He's not able to clear it far away. Comes off his sort of shin in the end, and it allows the goalkeeper to come out, Virginia, and make the claim.
Hasn't scored as many goals as the Crystal Palace fans hoped he would. Mateta 15 in 85 games. He's seen more football this season. Surprising turn of pace for the big man. He's 6'4" tall. He's started 7 league games this season, and he had 6 starts last season in the Premier League. As França collects for Crystal Palace again, lacking a little bit of awareness. There was a challenge on him, but he rode the challenge and runs away with the ball to the left-hand touchline, flashes a ball up to Mateta, centre forward position, and in steps Branthwaite to get it away.
Yeah, this is where he gets to experience, the pace of the game for França. And I think that's what it is. How much time or little time you have when you're in possession of the ball.
Now Dumas looked lively on the left for Everton, steered it into Calvert-Lewin, broke down though. Palace had that back again. It's been a fragmented first half at 0-0. We're approaching the last minute of it. Crystal Palace's next league game is Arsenal away. That's on the 20th. Bournemouth. Everton's next league game is what's their next league game? Villa, I think. I was saying earlier on, it is Villa at home, which is they play the week before Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace play the second week of the winter break.
Yeah, Everton. Villa at home on the 14th of January,
which won't be easy for them. They just slipped off late, having had those 4 very good wins, including Newcastle and Chelsea, when they lost away at Tottenham, at home to Manchester City. No disgrace there, but they played poorly in defeat at Wolves in the 3-0 defeat. Crystal Palace, after the Arsenal game, could be in the FA Cup 4th round, and then have Sheffield United home, Brighton away, and Chelsea here. Given away in the heart of midfield by James Garner for Everton. Crystal Palace have it slightly left of centre with Mitchell. Eze finds Gahey, tucks it into Richards, hard working in the midfield, keeps possession. Back he goes then to Anderson. Anderson square to Klein. Klein on the halfway line finds Lerma, steers it into the centre forward position. Mateta. Oh, a little bit of a Cruyff turn by Mateta. Crowd loved it. Here's França cutting in off this left hand side. Gap in front of it. França tried to plant the shot from the Crystal Palace right, the Everton left, and was blocked in there by Branthwaite. And now they find France again. Byline whips the cross in, flashes through the 6-yard area and all the way through.
Yeah, I think it was the right option for France there. Looks to try and hit the ball with pace across the face of the goal. It does take a deflection. There weren't a lot of options for him. He's trying to find a way. He's trying to force the ball into that 6-yard area. And for Everton, it was just good defending.
Schlupp for Crystal Palace has it 10 yards outside the penalty area, slightly left of centre. Now Richards, who is behind him. Palace look for Eze. Good defending on him by Big Tarkowski, but Palace now find a route round. Schlupp's offside. Good early flag. And free kick given straight away. Everton have it. Free kick then. We've had the minute of stoppage time, and we have a half-time score of 0-0. Crystal Palace with a shot from Schlupp saved, and the one cleared underneath the bar by Mikolenko. At the other end, Danjuma pulled a decent save out of Henderson, and they also had an effort from França against his own side, nearly beating his own goalkeeper. But that's the closest we've come, Mark.
Yeah, it's not been a game full of a lot of chances. Been some half chances. I think neither team have really sort of shown their best. Everton, I think, have been the better of the two in the first half for the majority period of time. Certainly Palace finished the game stronger. So hopefully, this second half we'll see a vastly improved performance from both sides.
0-0 at the break. We're nearly ready to kick off with Crystal Palace in the blue. This 4th kit being used today and today only, and it will then be auctioned off with the proceeds going to the club trust, and the white and blue sash on the shirt of Eze, who will kick us off and underway in the second half at 0-0. Everton started the better team. Crystal Palace probably had the best of the last 10 minutes or so of the half. They have Henderson in goal, Klein, Anderson, Gay and Mitchell the back 4, Lerma, Richards and Schlupp in midfield, França, the young Brazilian in his full debut, Eze in supporting Jean-Philippe Mateta, and off we go then on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, 0-0 at the break. Everton in the slate grey with João Virginia, his first game for the club since March 22 in goal. Seamus Coleman, he's starting a record equalling 14th cup campaign for an Everton outfield player. James Tarkowski, Jarrod Branthwaite, who I think is an excellent proposition, and Vitaly Mikolenko the back 4. Garner and Onana midfield holding an excellent. Dwight McNeil started on the right hand side. Harrison tucked in the turn, and Arna Danjuma on the left has been lively with Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, and that's the way they started the second half. And Crystal Palace look for Mateta in the goal boot, short sleeve, turns, twists, might have got away first time, gets the cross away second time into the box, but all the way through the penalty area and out towards the far side, where it's collected over there then by França, and his darting ball goes in and away for a goal kick as our producer George Cummins sucks his fingers from a jam donut that he had at half time. Did you get one, Mark?
No, I didn't.
Did you get one?
I think he had 3.
I didn't get one.
Yeah.
People will say I don't need one, which that's a fair argument to be fair, but anyway, on we go. The selfish man that George Cummings is. Now here's Lerma for Crystal Palace, centre circle, out towards the left-hand touchline, turns in support is Richards, sort of come new to this role. He brought him as a centre-back really from Bayern, and he's played really well, I think, in that central midfield role for Crystal Palace in recent wins. Through to Everton, what do you think needs to happen in this second half?
Well, the tempo definitely needs to increase. Both sides probably guilty of not having the highest of tempos. We heard before Conor Cody talking about they've come off the back of a very, very busy festive period, which is true, and it's very, very tough for the players to play every couple of days. And this is the game where it sort of all hits you a little bit. And I think the conditions are ones that are tough, and it's raining, it's windy, it's not the best and most pleasant conditions to play under. Now we've got a bit of a break in the onslaught, and I think for the players now, hopefully in the second half, they'll lift the tempo a little bit.
It goes to a replay. It'll be during Crystal Palace's active time. It'll technically be in Everton's mid-winter break, which means effectively they won't get a mid-winter break. Not that I'm not too sure really it is that much of a break, although I was listening to someone talking about the likely Brighton team against Stoke at the weekend, and whether they play Lewis Dunk in their cup tie against Stoke. If they don't, he'll have effectively 3.5 weeks off because he's had a suspension, so that might give him more of a break. It's interesting, this whole winter break thing, isn't it?
It is, and look, I think if you look at the schedules, international and domestics, take this country for the example, there are just seemingly more and more games being played, and more expectations on players, and it's tough. It really is very tough for players to maintain it, and I don't think it's a coincidence that we're seeing more and more injuries.
And enjoy third round replays, by the way, if you get a chance, because they won't be here for very long if the senior clubs have their way. And it'll be a throw to Everton down below us, and it'll be taken then by Coleman into a Nano, hooks it thigh high down the line, where it's headed away by Gay. Good touch by Dominic Calvert-Lewin in bringing it down, and a bit of a crosswire situation with Coleman, who overran the pass before Calvert-Lewin had released, so just slipped away out of play for a throw to Crystal Palace, and it'll be taken by Tyrick Mitchell. Came from the Brentford Academy when they changed their sort of youth team plans there back in 2016, young Mitchell, and he thought he'd want to throw in there down below us, but in fact it's now an Everton throw that Coleman will take. Seamus Coleman, remarkable character, as we were saying earlier on, his 33rd FA Cup tie in his career, throws in short then towards Harrison, takes the return, Coleman, Calvert-Lewin, good ball out wide to Harrison, changes to his left foot, arcs the cross into the middle, Danjuma brings it under control, facing away from goal, edges it back, it's slipped wide by Mikolenko. In comes the ball, bending towards the far post, bending off the foot of James Garner, but it went wide.
Yeah, I think it was more of a hopeful sort of shot from distance there. It wasn't a real lot of pace on the ball. I wouldn't have expected Dean Henderson to have too many problems had that ball been on target. But again, it's sort of a lacklustre start for this second half. It just needs one of these teams to lift the tempo a little bit and possibly be a little bit more direct, and therefore could make the early breakthrough.
Settling time for both these two teams. Crystal Palace with constant rumours that Steve Cooper's going to come in as a manager, and that Roy Hodgson and Ray Lewington will depart. Here's Eze for them on the edge of the penalty, takes a strike, gets the shot away, and it's palmed strongly out by João Virginia in the game's best moment so far.
Yeah, it was definitely the best opportunity for Crystal Palace there. We could see Palace for one of the rare times in this game wins the ball quite high up, catches Everton out a little bit. Eze's shot was with power, it swerved a little bit, and I thought Virginia did well there to get both hands behind it, controlled it, but it's a save that I would expect him to make.
It's a corner kick for Crystal Palace on their right. Eze will take it. They've got Schlupp on the edge of the 6-yard area. Richards has just come across and had a little bit of treatment or something. In comes the cross, it's headed goalwards and plucked out from underneath the bar by Virginia to deny Lerma from the header. Comfortable save, really, sort of save he should be making, but again it was ominous for Everton the way he won the header.
Yeah, but he was always going away from goal. I didn't really see it as a major threat for Everton there. You know, and I could see as the goalkeeper Virginia there made it quite comfortable. You know, he just got it in front of the crossbar. It was a pretty simple take in the end. So yeah, it was a decent ball in the box, but always going away from the goal.
França for Crystal Palace, making strides down the right hand side, goes to ground. Eze turns, arms spread eagle towards the referee to say that was a free kick, but I think it was just a question of Mykolenko being too strong. There was a little tug back initially, then they went on the foot race, and he was just too strong, Mykolenko.
Yeah, I think the referee could have given a free kick for the first initial pullback on the shirt, but you know, França was actually away. He had a little bit of a gap on him, and he could have easily have continued, but Mykolenko did well in the end to get back.
Looks as if the rain is coming down again, but not as fiercely as it was come around about tea time and through to kick-off time. The red and blue corded flags, the red and black and blue flags in the Kromsel end are still being waved frantically. And there's a free kick here for a challenge on Mark Gahey. What an excellent signing. Gahey has been Mr. One League game last season, Mr. One League game this season. England international, played in both the games against Malta and North Macedonia recently. Semi-finalist for Crystal Palace in this when they lost to Chelsea 2 years ago now. And everyone will remember also their FA Cup final appearance when they lost the final, but a little dance from the manager who thought they'd won it at that time. It was a close affair, wasn't it? Crystal Palace, when they got to the final last time around, 15, was it? Pardew unlucky in his finals as manager with the Palace and with West Ham, that game down at Cardiff, you remember, against Liverpool. It's going to be a throw-in for Crystal Palace in front of the Everton hordes in the Arthur Wade stand. Can't see many empty seats in there. It's cleared away. They expected a 22,000 crowd tonight. Tickets bought late. Here's Anderson for Crystal Palace. Lovely touch off by Eze. Richards, 10 yards to his left is Mitchell. Progressive move by Crystal Palace. And then Lerma misjudged the pace of the ball out wide. Let it run across his body. Too tight to the touchline. Throw in Everton.
That was a good example there of trying to lift the tempo a little bit. Chris Richards does really well. He gets the ball, first touch, puts himself in position and plays a really solid, good pass out to Lerma. Lerma just can't keep control of it though.
So the camera's just cut away to Roy Hodgson down in the dugout area for Crystal Palace. Beware what you wish for, fans of football clubs. Last 5 years for Palace, 12, 14, 14, 12, 11. Not finished in the top 10 since 91, 92, but safe. Little resource. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell down the line. Will return to him. Again, Crystal Palace slowly moving through their pace. Slip back to Gade. Lovely spin on the halfway line. And he runs away from Harrison into a more central position and then plays a poor pass. Mixed messages again with Eze, who's coming away from the penalty area, and Gade played it through to the box goal kick.
Yeah, I don't know whether Eze would have been able to control the pass that Gade played him. He just plain and simply overhit it. Hit it with too much force.
Calvert-Lewin beaten in the air by Richards just inside the Palace half. Ball comes out to the Everton right full-back position. Coleman is running out of play. It'll be a Crystal Palace throw. Sean Dyche thinks there was a push down there and stands asking a question of the referee and then the fourth official, who would be a fourth official, Tim Robinson. The only thing you get is an earful all game, every game. Branthwaite clears for Everton, lob over the top. Calvert-Lewin is up after it and gets there. Right hand corner of the Crystal Palace penalty area, no support, has to come back, feeds Onana, central midfield, whisks it away, left-footed pass towards the far touchline. Mykolenko then into Ghana. Everton maintaining possession, moving the ball quite quickly, and it has Tarkovsky's pass now out wide to Coleman, setting them on another attack. 0-0 it is on 5 Live. BBC Sounds, all the FA Cup, 12 commentaries brought to you, all the FA Cup action with the 12 commentaries through to Monday night. And it'll be Branthwaite to bring it away. Branthwaite to the left-hand touchline. Mykolenko back to Branthwaite again. Big angle crossfield ball. to Coleman's foot. Coleman brought it down very well. Right hand touchline, feeds Harrison, central midfield. Harrison to his left hand side has Garner. Garner, one more pass to the left touchline. McNeil gets the cross in. McNeil back on his left in this second half. It's cleared to Onana. So Danjuma's come to the right and McNeil back to his more favoured left for Everton. Tarkowski pings it forward, ricochets away back to the halfway line, and Branthwaite, tall, upright, fair head defender. That's a lovely ball away to the left-hand touchline. McNeil feints to cut inside, does so in the end, rolls it to Onana, and in support he has James Garner. 0-0. Here's Mikolenko. No goals. Which team is getting on top at this moment in time? I'll ask Mark in just a couple of seconds' time. Harrison plays Mikolenko again. They're going nowhere with this move. Who's on top at the moment, Mark?
Well, I think Everton have had more possession. They've looked more threatening going forward. In saying that, we just a few minutes ago we had Eze who had that shot off on goal from just outside the 8-yard box. Did test the genuine goal, but for me, Everton have definitely again started this second half a bit like they started the first.
Goal kick to Crystal Palace, crossed by Klein, who cannoned it against McNeil as I peer behind the stanchion of the old stand here, the old main stand. Crystal Palace plans for a new look Selhurst Park have been there for several years now, not yet reached fruition. Roy Hodgson puts his spectacles back on, wipes his nose, peers out into a wintry old South London night. And if you ever hear people say this is South East London, it might be an SE postal address, but Crystal Palace fans will always call it South London. Here's Lerma, who scoops it into the Everton half, but Harrison intercepts, feeds Danjuma, spins up towards Calvert-Lewin, good centre forward play, looked along the line, stayed onside, cuts the dead ball and in comes across, important header away by Klein. Lerma couldn't get there. Harrison for Everton tries to get the shot away, deflected up off Richards and crashed out by Anderson towards the halfway line. But Everton just beginning to build momentum, Mark.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Calvert-Lewin's run down the right hand side, it was a good one. Delivery in the box was a pretty decent one. The problem is you wanted Calvert-Lewin in the box to head his own cross, because he's the one that's perfect to get on the end of those crosses. They had players in the box, just no one really attacking the ball.
41 games he missed in 3.5 years, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. What an interruption to what looked like being a really, really good career. He might yet get his England place back, but it'll be a tall order for him to be in the Euro squad, I would think. Free kick here to Crystal Palace on the left touchline. Onana disagrees with the decision as Schlupp went to go away from him. He put his left foot across the advancing Schlupp, brings him down. Free kick to Crystal Palace. Now we're a yard in from the left hand touchline, 25 yards from goal. It'll be taken then by Eberechi Eze. He's got how many to hit in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Anderson's creeping around the back for Crystal Palace. Not a regular scorer, only a couple of goals this season. Hasn't missed a minute in the Premier League. Should score more from set pieces. He's up, hands on hips, on the far side from me. That's the edge of the D. Schlupp just on the near side of the D. As Eze's free kick comes in, Everton holding a high line on the edge of their penalty areas. They would do for a set piece like this. In it comes towards the far side, looking for Anderson, heads it infield, headed away in there by Branthwaite, had to dive to head it away. Crystal Palace look for the second ball in. Schlupp might go for goal here, hits the back of Dominic Calvert-Lewin's calf, ricochets away. Arthur Waite stands side of the ground, far side from us, throw in to Crystal Palace, and Jefferson Lerma, their summer signing from Bournemouth, will take it.
I think it was a fist from Joel Virginia that came out and made that clearance in the end. He actually cleaned up Branthwaite in the process. So it was good commanding goalkeeping.
Here's Anderson. Anderson gets it crossed deep into the penalty area. Mitchell couldn't bring it under control. Goal kick. When you're a goalkeeper like that and you know you've got to come, and if you need to clear everything out in front of you, do you have any compunction? Do you have any conscience whatsoever that you might be splatting a teammate?
Well, I don't think you're never consciously going to try and knock someone over or collide into someone, but you just know that if you have to come, you have to come, and you're going to have to go through a whole sort of like pile of players, then so be it. And if someone happens to be in your road, then unfortunately for them, they're generally going to end up second best.
Have you ever had a teammate you would have liked to have splatter in that situation? Was that an argument for another day?
Probably another day, not fair. But I did actually one time play for the national team. I just quickly broke a teammate's jaw.
Who?
Danny Tiato. He came on. He just came on. We were playing in Australia, a friendly game against Turkey, and ball was whipped in the box, and he was doing the proper thing of the proper pro tracking back. When does a wide player like Danny Tiato ever track back? I think it was the one time in his whole career he tracked back, got in the way, and I tried to punch it, and I got him. The attacker got the ball, and the ball ended up in the back of the net. It was only a friendly though.
Yeah, and he couldn't have complained afterwards, could he? Because his jaw was wired up.
Yes, for about 2 months.
Crystal Palace have it with France at halfway line. Scoops in field, centre circle, Schlupp back to Eze. Tried to fizz it out to Lerma, miscontrolled it, and Everton tidy up. Coleman back to his goalkeeper. 0-0, 5 live, 61 minutes gone. First of our FA Cup, 12 commentaries for you this weekend. FA Cup still has its glory, still has its romance. Has Dominic Calvert-Lewin pounding down on the Crystal Palace penalty area, and the shot lacked any sort of power, and it's easily collected by Henderson, who rolls it away. Tempo of the game has improved. That finishing wasn't improved though.
Yeah, it was a good run from Dominic Calvert-Lewin down the left-hand side for Everton. He makes some really good ground up. He gets a good control on the ball. He makes a sort of the direction in towards the goal, but the angle's just a little bit too tough for him, and he also tries to get around it to get back on his right foot, and by doing so sort of leans off the ball a little bit and is unable to get any real power in the shot.
Harrison to the dead ball line on the far side. Cross deflected away. Corner ball for Everton. They're beginning now to step up the pressure. Richards got back well for Crystal Palace. Will Harrison take the corner? I don't think so. I think it will be who's going across there to take it. James Garner's gone across there to take it for Everton. 62 minutes gone, 0-0. Up comes Big Branthwaite from back. Hasn't scored since last February when he was on loan for PSV and scored against Groningen, if my memory serves me correctly. In comes the corner kick towards the near post area. Oh, Henderson came to punch. The ball was taken away by one of his own players, Mateta, I think it was, on the corner kick.
Yeah, I think it's Mateta. Does his job in that near post area. It was a dangerous ball. It was one of those ones, sort of in between the two, really. And Mateta does well, gets a flick on it. Henderson's there. It is a bit awkward. It's a bit of heart and mouth at the time when you come out for those ones. But in the end, they got away with Palace.
If in doubt, get it out. He did. Corner ball for Everton, right side. McNeil will take it. So who have we got there? The far post area, Garner. In come the runners to that far post area. Came off Richards, I think. No goal kick is given. Now Onana's leading the protests, thinking that ball came off Richards. I thought it did as well. Let's see the replay. It came off the back of Richards. Anyway, goal kick is Sean Dyche. Muttering in that gravel voice of his down there, thinks it should have been a corner kick. It's a goal kick anyway. I wonder if he mutters like that over the breakfast table when he's asking for when he's looking for his cornflakes or his Weetabix or whatever. Give me some Weetabix. Down the line for Crystal Palace, it's headed away by Seamus Coleman. His cup tradition as a player, we were talking about actually in that Chesterfield semi-final team, and he bashed in the penalty against Middlesbrough for 2-0 lead that was, and then first game's 3-3, 97. Chesterfield have always thought they were denied a place in the final. He's Schlupp now. A bit of conflab going on down there in the Palace technical area between Roy Hodgson and Ray Lewington as their team looks for Mateta over the top. Branthwaite came across to head it away. Now comes square on to meet the run. The run was by Lerma, who goes crashing to the ground, no free kick given, and Everton come to break away. Klein steps in to block the crossfield ball. The ball rolls off his toe to McNeil. McNeil has Vitaly Mikolenko on the overlap. His cross comes into the penalty and it's sliced over his own bar by Anderson. Corner kick against Everton. The game is becoming stretched at 0-0.
It is, yeah, it's starting to open up a little bit there. There's a really good ball in the box. Here's Mikolenko, yeah, he looks for that near post area. Unfortunately for him though, he hasn't got a teammate making that run through. you can see that watching the challenge now on the replay from Branthwaite on Lerma. I think it's a good challenge. I really do. I don't think there's anything in that other than a good challenge.
I think he's a terrific young player, the England under-21 international. And recently in the wins over Serbia and Northern Ireland, has a big future. It's going to be a corner kick for Everton on the right-hand side. Referee's seen something in there. Everton have had some great centre-halves over the years. LeBone was a terrific centre-half, and years of Kevin Ratcliffe back there and players like that. Going to be a corner kick here, down on the right-hand side, and McNeil will take it. In comes the corner kick from him, swirls all the way through, headed back across goal by Tarkovsky, over by Onana, couldn't get over the ball, goal kick. Good little set up to him, but he couldn't climb over the ball.
Yeah, I thought he was in a really good position there. Onana, he got really, really high. As that ball gets headed back across the face of the goal from Tarkovsky, I actually just think he mistimes it, because the only problem is Tarkovsky's header back over is quite a looping one. And as Onana gets up, he's up with plenty of time. He's even got the Palace player França underneath him, where he's kind of like balancing on him. He just can't control the header back towards the goal.
Big header away by Branthwaite at the back for Everton. Gahey's cultured touch finds Mitchell. Back it goes then towards Mark Gahey, and he clears it away. Out of play. Sean Dyche catches, throws it very, very quickly to Seamus Coleman. Coleman looks to throw short. That looked like a foul throw to him. I thought he hopped as he threw it. Anyway, Richards heads away for Crystal Palace. Coleman quick to advance to pick it up again. Danjuma infield to Harrison, lost it over the top. Tessie for Gay under the physical pressure of Calvert-Lewin. Gay headed away. Coleman thought it was a hand. Don't think it was. And it's cleared by Crystal Palace when Mateta and Eze bump into each other. It's become muddled and fractured the game.
But mostly because of Everton. Everton have been really, really aggressive. Every time Palace look to try and get out, they're very much closing down in numbers. They're really engaging very high, very quickly, very aggressively, and winning the ball more often than not.
Everton have it. Left-hand side, Harrison to get across. It beautifully floated to the far post area. Coleman got up, headed it back to the edge of the penalty area. Well read though for Crystal Palace, and cleared away by Lerma. Everton have a throw almost on the halfway line. Tarkovsky throws it 15 yards infield off the left thigh of Branthwaite as he brings under control and trundles forward. Has Mikalenko in support on that left-hand side. McNeil looks to get a big booming cross in to Calvert-Lewin all the way through. First one to react is Seamus Coleman, the 35-year-old. First to it, still as hungry as he ever was as an Everton player. Uses Garner in support. Onana back to Garner. This is promising for Everton. Low cross into the middle. Palace on the back foot, clear away through Gay. You have to pick one winner now for this FA Cup third round tie. You'd pick Everton, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they've definitely been the more positive in the second half, and they've in this last sort of recent spell, they've been far more energetic, higher tempo, and they have started to ask a few more questions to Crystal Palace.
Coleman pushes the assistant referee out of the way so he can take a throw in. Simon Bennett is the assistant ref on this near side, very experienced. Palace thought that ball was out of players. Coleman and Garner and Harrison tried a little triangle of passing. Flag stayed down, so Everton have it. Branthwaite centre circle, switches it to the left-hand side. McNeil has looked more effective over there. Danjuma's over there with him. Now here's Onana, 0-0, 5 live from the BBC. 69 minutes gone. This is a promising attack. In comes across, looking for the run of Danjuma. Out comes Henderson to punch it away. Edge of the penalty area. Hard-working Garner. Back to Onana. Knew that Mateta was coming back, so he swiveled and lays a ball out to the left-hand side where it's collected by McNeil. Slides it down the line. Mikalenko checks back. Finds McNeil again in support. Across there is young França and also Klein, the young and the old of the Crystal Palace in there. So they couldn't get the cross in Everton. They come back to the halfway line at 0-0, and Onana tries to slot it forward to Calvert-Lewin. Well read by Anderson and given away by Eze, who's having a very quiet 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, they've struggled to retain possession, Palace. Again, on this occasion, Anderson does really well. He's on the front foot, wins that ball, that straight sort of pass from Everton in to try and find the feet of Calvert-Lewin. And Anderson was really quick to react. He's out quickly, gets a touch, plays it to Eze. Eze looks to try and play Jeffrey Shutlin, but he just wasn't ready for it.
Harrison, 25 yards out, gets a shot away, but it bobbles harmlessly wide. I remember that Everton's 7th, 8th effort on goal. Easy wide though. from Jack Harrison, looking for his third goal in an Everton shirt. They're on loan from Leeds. Here come the first of the changes. Will Hughes is coming on for Crystal Palace, scored in the 4-0 win here against Everton in the quarter-final a couple of years ago. And the other Crystal Palace substitute is Naouri Ahmada. And off goes França. So he's replaced. Ahmada comes on and Hughes comes on as well. See the other Crystal Palace player was who went off. It's Schlupp who's gone off. So Hughes on for Schlupp then, and Ahmada on for France. Two changes. We've got a little bit of a delay here while an Everton player is down receiving treatment. It's Onana who is down. While we've got this little break, if you're interested in FA Cup history, I urge you to look on Google or wherever you look at it for the cup tie that is forgotten, the forgotten cup tie. It was 50 years ago. Next month, Bristol City played Leeds United. Don Reeves, unbeaten Leeds United. No one gave him a chance. 3-day week because of the mining strike, so he couldn't have floodlights. Games had to be played during the afternoon. They drew 1-1 at Ashton Gate, went to Ellen Road and won with a Don Gillies goal. It's the cup tie that is forgotten. Everyone forgets it. It was one of the most amazing upsets of all time. You are talking the Leeds United of Bremner and Giles and Clark and Jones and Eddie Gray and Lorimer. Just look it up and read the story about that tie. 50 years ago next month, and I was fortunate enough to be in the Bristol City dressing room afterwards and sitting between Ernie Hunt and Jerry Gow, and it was one of the most memorable evenings of my life. The great Jerry Gow, my mentor in the game, and Ernie Hunt, you might remember him for the little flick up free kick with Willie Carr. Anyway, look it up. We're back in play on 5 Live. I digress no more. 0-0 it is here. And Crystal Palace have made the changes. What do you think about the changes, Mark?
Well, I think they had to do something because Palace were losing a bit of a grip on this game. Everton certainly looked the more positive. They looked like they were starting to really assert their dominance on this game. And I think for Roy Hodgson, he had to make some changes. I thought França was even quieter in this second half. He really struggled to get going. That is also due to the fact that Palace as a team has been a bit flat to start of this second half.
Well, Ahmada, who they brought on, has played just over 2 hours of football in the league, hasn't started in the league yet this season. They brought him in from Stuttgart in January. So away on the far side receiving from Klein. And Crystal Palace have it now with Richards to his centre-back, Big Anderson, into the heart of midfield, going nowhere at the moment. Poor ball out by Anderson, blocked by Tarkowski. Everton the better team, the team most likely to win. Ball into Calvert-Lewin on the edge of the penalty. Leaves it for Danjuma. He shot straight at the goalkeeper, a big chance. Yeah,
it was a big chance there for Danjuma there. Wasn't a lot to aim for. There's a lot of players in front of him, including his own teammate Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And I have to say, Dean Emerson does really well because he stands up, he watches it all away and makes it look very, very simple by actually keeping hold of the ball.
It's a free kick for Everton. Will Hughes looks perplexed. They won that game 4-0 in the quarter-final a couple of years ago, 2022. Everton with it. Nearly started the night the favourites, but Crystal Palace were very, very good that day. Everton have this free kick. The moment they have the balance of play, we have 16 minutes to go before the game goes to a replay up at Goodison Park. And again, I would urge anyone, if they can get a ticket there over the next 18 months, to go, because it is genuine 66 ground still, and it's wonderful. It's a great atmosphere to go up there. It won't be around very long, Goodison Park. Now it's going to be cleared by Klein for Crystal Palace. The ball bounced awkwardly high for him. He clears the ball to the halfway line. Underneath it was Tarkowski. Headed back by Richards. Hughes in the midfield battling for it. So too Mateta. A little wrestling match there between Mateta and Tarkowski. It's a free kick for Crystal Palace. Tarkowski jogs back. Slight disagreement with the referee's decision. Not too much dissent. It's a free kick. There's a real wrestling match in there.
Yeah, well, Tarkowski actually grabs hold of Mateta's arm and almost like tries to flip him over. So it was a clear foul. You can see there was a little bit of a coming together again from Onana and Will Hughes.
There's Hughes going to lever it off to Eze. But Everton look the sprightlier team, and McNeil up towards Calvert-Lewin. Harrison quick to pounce on Calvert-Lewin's header back to him, but Calvert-Lewin was there as well, slithering in to make sure Everton had possession. To the left-hand corner of the penalty area. McNeil checks back, sets up Harrison, couldn't get the shot away, met by Gay, who defended astutely, and away then by Hamada for Crystal Palace. To the far side, in front of the half-weight stand, and what's the referee given? He stopped. It's a throw to Crystal Palace. He stopped it because there's a Palace player down. I think it's Gay. No, it's not Gay. Who's that guy?
No, it's Nathaniel Klein there as he comes back to try and make the clearance, and then you can see Dominic Calvert-Lewin as he dives for the ball. His legs actually stretched out, and he clips Nathaniel Klein across the shin. And it wasn't. I mean, there's no intention there, but it wasn't a nice challenge there. I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin wins the ball in the end, but in the process, he sort of grazes across the shin of Nathaniel Klein.
When it was slowed down, and we've seen a slow motion replay, it didn't look particularly pretty, the challenge. And that's one of the criticisms of VAR. They're watching too many things in slow motion and super slow motion. Watching this again, as he slithers back in, he clips, his studs are showing as he clips Klein. Glances off the outside of his shin, doesn't he?
Yeah, look, I don't think there's any malice in that at all, but I mean, it was a potential. I mean, they're checking it now for a potential red card. But, you know, it was one of those ones where he's obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin stretched out to get the ball, and he does get the ball. He clearly gets the ball, but in the process, as he's stretched out, he clips Nathaniel Klein across the shins.
Should, at this stage of the game, 23-24, a challenge like that be a red card?
I think that's a real grey area. I mean, the referee's actually being sent over to have a look at it.
We'll send him off, you know.
He could well do it. I mean, I'm a bit on the fence with this one. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't look great. And the thing is, if he actually connects with Nathaniel Klein straight on, it could break his leg. But it's just the glancing of his shin.
I don't think there's excessive force in there. I don't think there's malice in there. Is it dangerous, reckless, serious foul play?
The thing is, his leg is quite high and it's above the ball. It's over the top of the ball.
Tide could turn on this, and Everton's immediate future, because if he gets sent off here, he'd miss Villa at home. It's a straight red card. Serious foul play. He'd miss the FA Cup quarter end if they get there, or Fulham at home. And the VAR is checking it. And the referee has said he's seen the screen, he's reaching for his pocket, the red card is produced, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin is dismissed. He is sent off.
Look, I think he's a little bit unlucky. I really do. I don't think that's, like I said, I'm really torn between that one, whether or not it is a red card or not. I think he's unlucky. I can understand why the referees look to send him off, but I think he's really unfortunate.
Well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin walked slowly to the tunnel area as he slid in. Challenge was straight-legged, glanced off Klein's calf. Sean Dyche and the Everton bench are perplexed. I think his reaction would be red cards for tackles like that, the game is gone. And a lot of you watching on would agree with that. Crystal Palace fans won't, of course. And under the current climate and the application of the laws, you might say he had to go for that, but I think it's very harsh. And the game could spin. 79 minutes gone. Calvert-Lewin is off. They've made a change, and Beto has come on, and Danjuma has gone off. So they've sacrificed Danjuma to bring on another centre forward. And you will hear more from that, no doubt, afterwards. Our George will be beetling away to get the interviews with Sean Dyche, and no doubt you will hear more from the Everton manager over the next 24 hours. Here's Hughes halfway down. He'll be furious, Sean Dyche. Absolutely furious. He was a tackler in his day. And here's Lerma. Has the tie gone Crystal Palace's way now? Gay has it. Here's Anderson and Hughes. Hasn't been a game like that. It's been competitive. The referee's been excellent, by the way.
But even on first viewing, as the game was being played, we didn't really react to it. It was one of those ones where you thought, oh, that's actually a really good challenge, and winning with the ball back. And it wasn't until you see Nathaniel Klein rolling on the ground, clearly in pain, and then seeing the replay, and then obviously, like you mentioned, when you see it in slow motion, often it makes it look worse. But it is a stretched leg, it is over the top of the ball. He does clip him as he goes through. So I can see why the referee has decided to send him off. I feel a bit for him. I think it's a little bit... well, I'm on the fence with this one.
Always looks worse in slow motion. Corner kick to Crystal Palace. This will compound Everton's misery, and it comes from Eze. Lerma reach for it to the edge of the penalty. Oh, flashing drive from Ahamada, the substitute, who whistled wide of Virginia's far post. Goal kick.
Yeah, I think in the end it was a bit of a snapshot. He takes it out on his right hand side. By doing so, he actually makes the angle more difficult for himself. And as he hits it across, he actually misses the goal by quite a considerable margin. It was a decent strike, just can't get the direction right.
The Everton fans making their thoughts about the referee known. I think it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin's first, it is, in 272 games. It's his first dismissal. Playing for Sheffield United, Stalybridge, Northampton. Under spell there on loan, Everton. Now here, I said at half time, to be a big moment for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I didn't think that was going to happen to him, Mark.
No, it's unfortunate, it really is. I mean, I'm just sort of sitting here still not quite sure as to whether it was the right decision to send him off, but I think it's one of those ones that could go 50-50.
David Ozo's going to come on for Crystal Palace imminently. Midfield player, youngster, 18 years of age, 34 minutes this season from the bench. Here's Anderson now. Plenty of time. Everton more reserved. They were pushing. They were the team most likely to get the breakthrough. So they're going to make a second substitution as well. Otton Edouard's going to come on for Crystal Palace. Now Mitchell. Back it goes then to Gay. Gay just flicks it out wide under pressure from Beto. Everton now find the substitute. Beto to run it to Richards. In comes across. Big chance. Garner. Skied it. Goal kick.
Oh, it's a big chance for Everton there. Beto does well. Takes his time on the ball. Whips across the middle of the goal. He's about 7-8 yards out. Garner, he just gets underneath it. I mean, it's a big chance.
Here come the substitutions. Lerma goes off for Crystal Palace to be replaced then by Edouard. And Ozo will come on. And the Crystal Palace player going off, I think, is Nathaniel Klein, who was obviously, is he limping as he goes away, Klein? He seems to be walking okay. More tactical than anything else. Against 10 men Everton in the closing 6 minutes. Just under 6 minutes plus stoppage time to go. 0-0. And it will be Henderson to get things going again with the goal kick for Crystal Palace. Out then towards the big Dane, 6'4" Joachim Anderson. So consistent for Crystal Palace alongside Mark Gay. Might not score many goals for Crystal Palace, but they don't concede too many either. And here's Anderson. Big diagonal away looking for Mitchell. Across comes Coleman. Been excellent for Everton. The old war horse at the back for them, heads it away. Been super for them. Gay for Crystal Palace, halfway line. 5 yards in to his right. It's Anderson who returns it to the England international. And Anderson plays it through the middle. Opportunity here for Odson Edouard, back to goal. Feed on that far side, the man who's just come on. Ozon, in comes across to the penalty as they brings it down, shoots on the spin. Good combination of defending Coleman and Tarkowski. Get the vital blocking corner ball.
Yeah, I think it's Tarkowski in the end that gets the final touch, but really good defending, really good block. See Ezard, he takes a really good first touch, gets it down, and he gets his shot off, but it's just the big defender of Tarkowski in the way.
Almost come to nothing. Really good block, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, big one, vital one.
A slight delay before we restart. An Everton player is down behind the dead ball line. Mateta not happy about it, swapping words with Coleman. Seamus Coleman is pointing out to the Crystal Palace player, but the Everton player is off the field of play while he receives treatment, so that's not stopping the restart. The referee wants to do anything, should have a word with Charles Virginia.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there. They took the corner really quickly, whipped it in that near post, the ball goes out, there's a goal kick given, and all of a sudden there's a player on the ground, and Mateta ends up getting a yellow card. So, and obviously Seamus Coleman's not happy with Mateta at all, his involvement in it. I'm not sure whether he's trying to drum up some more controversy about it, and maybe trying to get the referee to give him a red card, but he's been treated off the pitch.
Why aren't we restarting here? The ball is off the player is off the field of play, having treatment. He looks in pain, by the way, McNeil, is it?
Yes, I think it is, yes.
But I don't understand why we're having a delay, and I don't understand why the referee isn't having a word here with Virginia to get on with it.
Well, the problem for Everton is they're down to now 9 men, with the fact that Dwight McNeil's off the pitch. They're obviously down to 10 with McNeil off the pitch. Just makes that a little bit more difficult for them, so that's why they're probably trying to delay the restart.
Battling for it is Beto for Everton inside the Crystal Palace half. Gehi out wide towards the right-hand touchline. Crystal Palace have it. Opportunity for Almada to have a run. Holds the ball up. Gets it back again. Looks to get the crossing. Instead rolls it back to the halfway line. Anderson 0-0. 2.5 minutes to go plus stoppage time. This looks like a serious injury down there. That's why there was a delay. McNeil has stayed down. And that's what the referee was checking. Looks in real pain. And that's why I think there was a problem. They're cutting his socks down there. That could be a serious injury for Everton. And that explains why there was the delay. I think the referee maybe alerted the medical staff to that. It's another worry for Everton. They're going to send on another substitute. Meanwhile, Andre Gomez is going to come on for McNeil. That's a worry for them. I wish him well. The stretcher's gone out there. The Everton player. And there is genuine concern. And the referee's going to check. On comes Gomez, meanwhile. Well, it's 0-0. Could go to a replay, but at some cost. With McNeil about to be stretchered off, and they've lost Calvert-Lewin sent off.
Well, there's not a lot of space behind that goal. We're seeing the replay now on the TV. Quite sure. Trips over his own player, I think, and just the little replay that we've seen. I think it's Branthwaite that goes on the ground and makes the clearance, and then Dwight McNeil seems to just fall over the top of him.
Mateta tried a little back heel, didn't he? And Branthwaite got the block in, and then hurdling his own teammate, he's gone down. Shake of the head for Sean Dyche down there, thinking how much more do we have to endure this season? Without the 10-point penalty, they'd be what? They'd be 12th, they'd be 5 points off 7. Sean Dyche having a conversation with Ray Lewington, two good old football people down there. And well, it can't be that serious because Sean Dyche patted Ray Lewington on the back. Ray Lewington must have said something. Sean Dyche rolled back.
He's got his laughing. He's got his leg in one of that protective sort of knee guard, leg guard, ankle sort of all the way down, and they're putting him on a stretcher now. There's about 10 people behind the.
Well, Sean Dyche looks very relaxed about it, and McNeil looks fairly relaxed about it as well. So it looks more protective than anything else. McNeil is not sitting up; he's lying down, but he's He's just smiled momentarily. 9 minutes of stoppage time to come. We're into that now. Everton look for the edge of the penalty. Tarkowski heads on. Good pressure there, and the shot is over. Whistled over by Harrison.
Another half chance there for Everton there as the ball pops down. Harrison, you kind of expect him to get a decent shot on target. And he's just got, again, too much on it, and he's blasted it over the crossbar.
Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0. Start of our 12 FA Cup commentaries for you on 5 Live. And here's Gay. He's some 15 yards inside his own half, looks forward. Crystal Palace with a line of 5 attacking players, pumps it up to Eze, tried to bring it under control. As he spun inside, there was a coming together of sorts with Coleman, no question of it being a free kick. Sean Dyche is actually appealing that Eze dived. Now he's already been booked in the first half for a dive. Here he is now, Crystal Palace's potential game winner, poked off there by David Oso, the substitute. The ball had too much pace on it, and Mitchell couldn't keep it in play, and it's going to be a goal kick. Pat on the back from Coleman to young Tyrick Mitchell. Rain falling again at Selhurst Park. Roy Hodgson, hands deep inside the pockets of his padded jacket. Down there, Sean Dyche in his suit applauds McNeil as he comes past him on the stretcher, pats his player on the shoulder. Applause from the Crystal Palace fans in the main stand for the Everton player as he steps it off. 6 St John's ambulance men down there with him. Here's Beto holding it up for Everton. Loses control. Comes back to Onana. Onana forces a pass to Mikalenko, who's been strong down the left for Everton. Into Beto, headed away by Anderson, the game's best players. I think have been defenders today. And Anderson, one of them, has Gahey to his left-hand side. Gahey picks it up then for Crystal Palace. They don't concede too many goals, but they don't get too many clean sheets. Crystal Palace, they could do with one. Here's Eze, free kick for Palace. And Ozo coming short towards him. He moves away towards the edge of the Everton penalty area. The Crystal Palace substitute wearing 52. Eze with his gloves on, white boots, shapes to take the free kick, pings it to the edge of the penalty area. Richards climbed well, Everton dealt with it well, Harrison clears. Racing back for it to regain possession was the swift Ozil. They're flapping away as he pushes it back then to Mitchell. Mitchell on the angle to the left-hand touchline. There's a little slip there that could be dangerous for Everton. But they regroup, get it away, only as far as Mitchell, left-hand side. His cross deflects away off the Everton defender, and it's going to be Kenneth Garner. He's putting a shift in that Everton midfield. Going to be a corner kick though for Crystal Palace with 3.5 minutes very nearly of stoppage time played at 0-0. Palace pushing men forward. Only Mitchell is left back. Hughes on the edge of the penalty area for the drop-up ball. In comes the cross. Anderson rises. Comes out then for Crystal Palace. Ahmada strokes it wide. In comes the second ball. Head in there by Tarkowski's header away. He completes the clearance. Everton look to counter. Pushed on then by Andre Gomez. He fights back for it. Again, possession was lost and regained. It's been one of those sorts of games, Mark, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a bit scrappy. Certainly since Everton have been down to 10 men, they've obviously looked to be more on the counter. They've also had a couple of decent chances. Jack Harrison, the most recent one where he skied it over from about the penalty spot out slightly to the side, but he had a really good chance on the volley, skied it. Other than that, Palace have just looked to try and knock long balls into the box and have struggled to really hurt Everton.
Ahmada driving into the Everton penalty area. He's just forced a corner kick. 94.5 minutes gone, and it's a corner kick for Crystal Palace. It could win them the game against 10 men Everton. Calvert-Lewin sent off for Serious foul play, the challenge on Clyde. Outswings the corner on 5 live. Met on the edge of the penalty area by 3 Palace players, but they were in a huddle. And Everton get it away. Anana's big clearance downfield. He's struggling with a little bit of cramp, I think, the Everton player. Can they hold on? Sean Dyche applauds the intention of Garner with the sliding challenge on Oza. Throw to Crystal Palace just inside their own half. 0-0 5 live. Mitchell has it back. Looking for some sort of movement up front. Doesn't get it. Uses Anderson behind him. Squaring away to his right is Richards. Gone back there after the substitution of Klein. Plays back to Anderson, left of centre, trundles into the Everton half. Little attempted spin by Odsonne-Edouard doesn't come to anything, and Everton look to counter. Coleman's ball hit the back of Beto's ankles, sprung back Crystal Palace's way, but as it ricocheted to the edge of the penalty area, Beto challenged Anderson strongly, went down in a crumpled heap. No question of a penalty, though. Sean Dyche has gone off alarming. Ian won't too. Inside that Everton technical area, I think it might have been a penalty. I don't think it was. But anyway, Crystal Palace look to counter again. Mitchell between box and left-hand touchline, floats in across, led in there by Branthwaite, who's been excellent. Header carries to Hughes, juggles it inside the penalty area, ricochets through, and out comes Virginia. His first start since March 22 to smother Gather.
Yeah, we're watching the replay now. I mean, Lockham Anderson, he's got his arms right around Beto there. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're looking on the replay. Maybe, just maybe, it's a split second early enough to let go of him, that he's not going to give a penalty for that.
I think Sean Dyche will think the sending off was harsh. He will say that should have been a penalty for holding on. Certainly there was an argument. Was there enough, Mark?
Possibly not. As I'm saying, I think it possibly just held on enough time to prevent Beto from actually causing any problems, but also not give away a penalty.
Crystal Palace in possession outside the Everton penalty, left-hand side. Rolled back then by Eberechi Eze to Gehi. Gehi finds Oza. Now Gehi once again. Everton, everyone behind the ball. We've had 7 minutes of stoppage time. Still 0-0. Here's Richards, been excellent for Crystal Palace. Almada on that right-hand side, cuts in from the line. Gehi against 10 men Everton. Eze rolls to the left-hand side. Can they get the cross in this time? Odsonne-Edouard. Eze, the Palace fans went in to shoot. He shoots! And it's pushed away by the diving Joao Virginia for a corner kick for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, very good save from Virginia there. Eze hits that ball. I think it's going wide. Yeah, it is. But Virginia doesn't know. It's just going to possibly clip the outside of the post. But Virginia does really well. Full stretch. Big, strong hand.
Palace fans respond, create noise. Crystal Palace, the far end of the ground. Eze's corner kick, well met by Tarkowski. He's had a strong game for Everton again. Heads it powerfully away, almost to the halfway line. It's clipped by Ahamada, straight out of play. The Everton fans applaud the fact they've got a throw on a Thursday night. They've come in. I know they've got a big supporters club in London, but a lot of them would have travelled a long, long way on a Thursday, on a wretched wintry evening. All credit to them, and indeed all the Palace fans who bought tickets, and Crystal Palace who made this a cheap FA Cup tie to come to. Sensible ticketing, good crowd, no goals. Here's Coleman now for Everton. Won't take any risk at this late stage, but do either of these teams really want another game at Goodison? It's a free kick given against Garner, but tugging the shirt of Mitchell. And Crystal Palace in a hurry to get on with it, because I make it we've got 20 seconds left of the 99 minutes. I think we're going to go to a replay. Nothing between the two teams. They've both had chances, both squandered chances. It's been a bit of a muddled old evening in terms of quality football. As Gay sweeps forward, one last attack, met by Mikalenko's header away. Harrison for Everton, the whistle beats him. Boos ring around Selhurst Park after a 0-0 draw. Eze coming closest, you'd say, for Crystal Palace, with the efforts saved by Virginia in the Everton goal. Good night for him with a clean sheet. As far as Everton are concerned, a couple from Danjuma, who had a decent game, but they lost Calvert-Lewin sent off. That changed things, and they had to be more conservative, and they go to a replay after a 0-0 draw. Mark?
Yeah, I think in the end Sean Dyche will be happy that his team was able to take it over the line, being down to 10 men. It was a difficult one for them. I thought they dominated the game for vast majority periods. Had they been 11 against 11, I think they were most likely the ones that were going to win this game tonight. Palace never really got going. Yes, had a couple of chances, certainly towards the end. That was mostly due to the one-man advantage. So overall, I think it was a disappointing performance from Palace, but a positive one for Everton.
Let's hope that Dwight McNeil isn't seriously injured. You'll hear more from that over the next 24 hours on 5 Live. But Ali, 0-0 here it finished.